Welcome to another episode of Impact Yobe. This is where you get information about developmental activities of the administration of Governor Mai Mala Buni in Yobe State, the pride of the Sahel. My name is Mark Otabo. Thank you for joining us.
The Secretary to the Yobe State Government, Baba Malam Wali, has assured the people of the state of continued delivery of legacy projects by Governor Mai Mala Buni. Wali gave the assurance during a media chat with newsmen in Damaturu after inspection of some of the landmark projects executed by Governor Buni. It shares more light on some of the inspected projects and effort made by the government to achieve the relative peace being enjoyed in the states.
This gathering may also serve as another vehicle for enlightenment and accountability on our stewardship through the press, which is considered as the first step of the realm in our democratic practices. For conceptual clarity and ease of reference, we have sectorized the briefing into various sectors. I will start with security. As most of you here are aware, we took over the mantle of, when His Excellency took over the mantle of this leadership on 29th of May 2019, there are many communities that remain inaccessible due to the threat posed by the insurgents in Gujuba and Gulani local government areas. With our committee backed by the federal government gallantry of the security operatives and complementary efforts of the vigilante groups and the persistent prayers of our people, normalcy has returned to the insurgency most rebellious areas, and reconstruction, resettlement, and rehabilitation of communities have started. For example, Buni Yadi, which was the headquarters of the then Boko Haram, has now been completely restored, and the infrastructure development has now gone, and it is one of the most peaceful areas in the state.
The Secretary to the Yobe State Government described the achievement recorded by the administration in construction of roads as very beneficial to the people of the state.
Road construction. With the scarce resources at our disposal, we have been able to complete the rehabilitation of Katarko Goniri and the Cementi Godoli roads, while rehabilitation work is ongoing along Gaidam Bukarti, Bayamari Yunusari, and Yunusari Kanama roads. We are undertaking new interconnected roads construction project at the Damaturu Kalalawa 25.5 kilometer and the dual carriageway for easier access to the Muhammadu Buhari International Cargo Airport, and completed the dualization of the Abattoir Junction new bypass roundabout along Potiskum Road for smooth movement of high number of traffic. We are also constructing Damagungubana, Bulangua Kumaganam, Nguru Bulangua, Danchua Garin Abba, Garin Bingel, Chumbusko Tagali, Nguru, Highway, Karasua Galu Towns, Pikamaluri, Jajimaji Karasua Town, and Kukuri Chukurua Dawasa interconnected roads, among others. Similarly, quota has been awarded for the construction of township roads in Damaturu, Nguru, Potiskum, Geshua, and Gaidam, in addition to the earlier township roads constructed. In total, over 500 kilometers of roads are being executed by the state government.
In the housing sector, Wali said the administration's policy led to the execution of various schemes across the states. Housing.
Under our mass housing policy, 2,350 houses across the 17 local governments has been constructed, and the estate provided with basic facilities. The houses of 2-bedroom and the 3-bedroom types were offered to civil servants and other members of the public across the state on owner-occupier basis with 50% discount. These houses were commissioned by the former President Muhammadu Buhari. Education. It could be called that the education sector was worst hit during the period of insurgency, as the dogma of the insurgents prohibited Western education. Their attacks were seriously on school instructors, teachers, and students. The killings, maiming, trauma, and the structural destruction were too numerous for us to contend with. This necessitated us to immediately declare a state of emergency on education. This was followed by convening Education Summit, Constitution of Commerce, Committee on Revitalization of Basic and Secondary Education, and later Yobe Education Trust Fund. In this regard, we have been able to establish 6 new model schools, 7 mega schools, 9 new girls' day secondary schools, 8 new co-education government day senior secondary schools, in addition for 1 for boys across the state. 1 IGP school was established in Buniadi.
He also highlighted the significant improvements recorded in the education sector.
Over 4,000 teaching and non-teaching staff were recruited by this administration and posted to various primary and secondary schools. And over 26,000 teachers were trained or retrained to enhance their capacities. Through sustained school feeding program and prompt payment of counterpart obligation, as well as school tuition and examination fees for our candidates studying nationwide and abroad, who have been able to achieve massive increase in school enrollment and pursuance of education at all levels. The Sangaya schools were also integrated into the system with a view to having all segments of our teaching and the learning processes on a common focus. In addition, we have already sent about 243 students to study various courses in India. They are going to graduate this year, and His Excellency, inshallah, is going to participate in their graduation ceremony sometimes in August this year. So in total, over 300 students are currently studying outside the country, and they are about to graduate, inshallah, before the end of August this year.
Wali also explained that the Boni administration has invested heavily in the health sector, leading to significant improvements.
Healthcare delivery. You may recall during the inauguration ceremony of His Excellency in 2019, he directed that each one 178 political votes, one effective and functional primary health care center is going to be constructed. Out of this, 140 have been completed and commissioned. We also procured and launched 88 customized tricycle ambulances and distributed to the remote areas to ease movement of patients to the health centers. The Yobe State Contributing Healthcare Management Agency, YOCHMA, was established, and over 300 people, including civil servants and other members of the general public.
As part of efforts to increase enrollment of pupils in schools, the Yobe State government has launched sensitization campaigns for parents and guardians on the importance of allowing their wards to attend school. Speaking at the launch of the campaign in the Damaturu, the permanent secretary in the State Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education noted that the narrative of parents and guardians allowing their wards to attend school is gradually changing.
Gone were the days when people were forcibly enrolled into our primary schools, because nowadays we know the value of education. We are willingly taking our wards to nursery and primary schools these days. Alhamdulillah, we brought this occasion to your doorstep, Your Royal Highness. We did this because we want your blessing. By giving us the blessing, sky will be our limit. We know we found ourselves some years back in a situation where we are not framed to see this thing again, God forbid. Alhamdulillah, education is a right.
He spoke about the achievement of Governor Mai Mala Buni in the education sector in the past 5 years.
From what brought us here, I want to reiterate the success which has been recorded by the government of Honorable Mai Mala Buni for the past 5 years. It is to your knowledge, some secondary schools were established. Some were promoted from junior secondary school to senior secondary school, especially the girl child education. We did that to promote the girl child education. And for example, our school here, Central Primary School, were being promoted to accommodate both secondary and primary education. And it has been going on 2 shifts, that is morning and afternoon, because of the population. We don't want to do away with the teacher-student ratio. So that was why it has been shifted into two, that is morning and afternoon. So also there are teacher training and retraining which is going on right now. Their welfare has been good taken care of by the present government. And also I want to your Royal Highness to understand that currently this year the sum of over 977 million was approved by Honorable Maimala for our children to undergo their WAEC, NECO, and other senior education.
The Executive Secretary of the Damaturu Educational Authority reiterates the importance of enrollment campaign to parents and the roles of traditional rulers in making it a success.
It is equally important in this very kind of occasion to address parents on the importance of enrollments of school-age children. Apart from the enrollment campaign, we really equally need to call on parents and traditional institutions that concur with us to support in the enrollments and all other aspects of education in our local government has to do with also retentions and progressions of our students. That's the essence Yobe State government established senior government girls secondary schools.
On his part, the Emir of Damaturu urged the state government to be proactive in sustaining improved school enrollment. He also spoke about the decision of the state government to revoke the licenses of some private schools that have not met the requirements.
The effort of the government need to be very much commended. Not only that, of recent, there are revocation of licenses of private schools. Just because seeing how things are going, not all that being required or needed by government, and the traditional institution happen to be being involved, and we have gone into action. We established a committee, went around all the private schools, and come up with the findings, and we have respectively reported to the, or submitted our report to the Basic and Secondary Education Ministry, and awaiting action.
It's indeed a delight to have you join us on this wonderful interview segment on Impact Yobe. Today, I'll be speaking with the Chief of Staff to the Yobe State Governor, Alhaji Abdullahi Yusuf Geshwa. Good to have you on the show, sir.
Good afternoon. You're most welcome.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
All right, let's delve straight into the 1 year into the second term of Governor Buni's administration. How is the administration striving to build on its first term achievements now?
Well, first we would like to start by appreciating God for making it possible for us to see this time, this moment. You know, unlike other states, Yobe is a unique state. So you cannot start to quantify what you've been able to achieve in 1 year without reflecting back. Absolutely. You know, we came with so many carry forwards. We had the carry forward for the insurgency, we have the carry forward for COVID, we have the carry forward for currency design, we have the carry forward for subsidy. We have so many negative carry forwards, which we have to contend with in valuing what we've been able to achieve. But thank God, His Excellency Maimala Buni, the Executive Governor, our leader, has a vision for transforming Yobe, and is in our efforts to translate that vision to reality, that we are where we are. You know, achievements, developmental indices differ. For example, what you might think is an achievement in Lagos may not be here. Here, because we have just come out of insurgency, our focus now is capacity building, changing the mindset of the people to believe in ourselves, not to continue lamenting. So on that strength, we've been able to empower people. It's visible. We've empowered a lot of people. We've provided facilities that will enhance value for life. They are visible. On physical infrastructure, I'm proud to tell you, under His Excellency, all the local government areas in the state, for example, are connected with the tar road. No one local government is, all local government headquarters are accessible. And we have His Excellency has been able to build one functional is equipped with the facilities and manpower medical center in each local government and each political ward. We have 178 wards. So that's been able to achieve almost 98%, and so forth and so forth. And if you look at this is the first time that in every local government area in the state, in every local government area, apart from the invisible, there are invisible achievements. Like when you are investing in education, it's not something that you will do it today, it matures tomorrow. It's a long-term investment, but there are physical infrastructures that you can see. So in every local government area, His Excellency has invested in both physical, visible, and invisible infrastructures, manpower capacity, facility infrastructure development, and so on and so forth. So we've done a lot. So, but you cannot be a player and be a referee to yourself. Absolutely. So we are sure if you go outside and ask the people what are the connectivity between the government and the people, whether we've been able to achieve what His government, His Excellency has undertaken to or not, is the people who will be our judges in this case. But in our own assessment, His Excellency has done enough.
I want to connect this response of yours to this particular question now. Now, the second term of Governor Buni's administration is made up of fresh and old officers. Now, as the Chief of Staff, what is your office doing to ensure a smooth relationship and, of course, with the people you met on ground, realizing the vision of the governor?
In Yobe, it's a family. There is no disconnect between the government and the people. It's the same family. Right from the onset, right from the democratic journey, it has been APP, ANPP, APC. So it's a whole family. The government and the people are the same thing. So we have a collective vision. The government is not just like the governor sit down in his office and come out with a vision. For every program that we unveil is a people-oriented program. Okay. So as far as we are concerned, the connectivity remains. So we are trying to make sure we continue on the progresses and the foundations made up by previous successive governments. Yeah. So what we are doing is just to modify the programs where they are modifiable and to change them to accommodate the present reality.
Now, the administration have actually executed several legacy projects across the state. The maternal hospital, the model schools, and quite a number of them. Now, what more should the people be expecting, moving forward?
During his budget speech, he has unveiled our focus for this year. So he's going to remain focused on these areas that he focused on. By June this year, or July, we will now invite the people once more and to evaluate the government and to do need assessment. Okay. So when we finish this need assessment, they will now come up with a short-term, long-term, short, medium, and long-term plans. The governor cannot just go and come up with a plan. So it is always based on need assessment. So we now define what are our needs and how best will the governor go about discharging and providing such needs. So when such needs are assessed, then we now develop an action plan that will take us to ensuring the maturity of the action plan.
All right, now let's look at the administration's effort in distribution of the palliatives to the residents of the state. Now, as a matter of fact, it's actually meant to cushion the economic hardship. Now, what's the plan to sustain and actually broaden this for more people to benefit from?
Unfortunately, Mr. Mark, we are in an era where people just import all types of adjectives, palliative, subsidy. All these ones makes you lazy. Okay. Because the human being is not like an animal that you can cage in a house, give him a bag of rice, give him an oil. Maybe that one, as far as I'm concerned, this palliative, this subsidy regime are all lazy man's terms. As far as we are concerned, well, of course there are crises, of course there is the need for government to come into the aid of people, but not to make it so pronounced, so much an issue. When you are in and out of crisis, you are supposed to say, okay, now that I've gone through this trouble, how do I come out stronger? But when you step back and some people queue you up and give you rice and sugar, so what happens when you finish that one? So this palliative bridging is not something that we are looking forward at in terms of a long-term plan. Of course, there was an issue as far as we're concerned. Now, for example, His Excellency realizing that Yobe State is an agrarian state. He said, okay, in the next 1 month or 2 months, he's going to invite the president. We have identified 25 farmers in each of the 178 wards. 25 times 178 farmers will be empowered with the agricultural implements free. Free. Right. So already we have procured most of these products. We are waiting for His Excellency to formally invite Mr. President to come and unveil this laudable program. We call it Agricultural Empowerment Scheme, where 25 farmers for each of the political ward will be empowered. Beside that, we have a livestock program where in each local government area we identify 10 mega dealers who will in turn appoint micro dealers. And our target is to ensure that we produce about 100,000 heads of cow every month for sale into the Nigerian market. So this one and the agric one, if you combine them, is enough. Yeah, so it's about empowerment. When you empower the person, then we now feed the city people. The city people speak English, we hear, we produce the food for them. So that is why all this outcry is much in the city, not in the village.
All right, sir. I know that the administration has embarked upon distribution of palliatives, to the residents to cushion the economic hardship. Are there plans to sustain this moving forward?
Mr. Bak, recently there are new adjectives: palliative, subsidy, so many adjectives that are meant to make you less productive. Okay. Because this palliative is supposed to be a temporary arrangement. It's a small stopgap situation. That's an issue, come in as a government, get the people out of it. But unfortunately, it's becoming now politics. Palliative, palliative, palliative. We know human beings are not like animals. It's only animals that you will cage in the ranch. In the morning, you give them grass, you give them whatever. But human being is meant to work. You are not meant to be kept at home and be given food. So as far as we are concerned, we don't want to make this palliative as a permanent arrangement. If there was an issue, fine, it has gone. What do we do out of it? For example, now, during the Boko Haram crisis, no part of the state say, gentlemen, hold on, Yobe and Borua in crisis, let's wait for them. Sure. No state waited for us. Life went on while we were in our own crisis. Now that by God's grace we are out, we cannot say, okay, people, other states wait for us, we are coming to meet you up. So that's why, in that regard, diplomatic indices are different. But come back to this palliative. This palliative, as far as I'm concerned, is a lazy man's ideology. And there is an issue, let's get out of it, let's think of a way out. So as a way out of this crisis, His Excellency now conceived two action plans. One is to empower, realizing that Yobe State is an agrarian state. You say, okay, what do we do? So we now say, okay, we are going to support 25 farmers by each of the 178, in each one of the 178 political wards. So you multiply 178 times 25 will give you the total number of farmers that His Excellency will empower. We'll give them agricultural implements, tractors, all these inputs that we require to have just the rain and the irrigation schemes. So we have this in plan. In addition, we have identified 10 major dealers in livestock, cattle, for example, cows, for example, specifically cows. So under this arrangement, government will support 10 major dealers in each local government. And it's assumed that each major dealer has about 20 or 25 macro dealers. We will give them like 200 million to make sure that at the end of every month, Yobe State will be able to supply 100,000 cows to the Nigerian market. The multiplier effect of that is that you will inject money into the economy, you will get people employed, And the multiplier effect is that you will see people running their lives. So this is what we are
Okay. Well, Mr. Abdullahi, very quickly, I would want to find out from you, as the Chief of Staff, it's always understandable that in a working system, not everybody will be up to speed or will be actually on the edge to really deliver. Are there plans to checkmate any officer or any commissioner who is not functioning or carrying out their duties well, or trying to slow down the process of the vision of the government?
Yeah, we have performance review mechanism. Okay. Some visible, some invisible again. So at the end of every 3 months, His Excellency will now invite a commissioner of a given ministry, giving what has been approved for you in the budget, giving what has been disbursed to you as a ministry, giving what you ought to have achieved within that period of time. What have you done? Okay. Fantastic. So that is the mechanism we have. And aside, we also have the eagle third eye, who will now go to a specific ministry or to go to a project site and to inform us through whatever means that, Your Excellency, this thing is not going on well, or the blocks.
And that's all we have for you on this week's episode on Impact Yobe. Don't forget to join us next week for a fresh edition of the program. My name is Marco Tabo. See you next time.